What's up, yeah, 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 yeah,
No boutique store that nobody knows about.
Well, whenever I go to LA, we're gonna have to go there. So
Just for you?
Yeah, I want to get one.
Yeah.
Chanel is. I think if I was like in the money range, I'd be a Chanel girl. Chanel all day.
Chanel.
I swear to God, half of y'all just don't know Kendrick.
Yeah.
I got Kendrick Lamar in the studio with me.
What's
I'm
up?
very excited right now. How are you, sir?
I'm back. I feel good being
You're back. Let me get this mic turned around so you can so we can make eye contact and all stuff because we got some talking to do.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar has been busy over the past year. Our last interview was less than a year ago.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either until I looked at it
That's crazy.
today. And whenever you were up here, you accidentally spilled the beans about Dre being on the album.
Yeah.
The recipe. That's
Right.
what we got. Whenever I heard it, I kind of got, I don't want to say crucified a little bit, but you have talked about this in previous interviews about Dre picking up the raps that you threw away, coming back the next day, the song was completely finished. What did it feel like to hear one of the legends rapping like Kendrick Lamar?
Man, I think it's like going back to the very first time hearing this music
Right.
and being wild about it and seeing all your uncles and all your cousins and the type of energy it brought to the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that times 10. You have all these mixed emotions about you listening to this dude music, and then you pen something for him to come back, and recite it.
Yeah.
It's just like one of them feelings you can't really describe, man, unless you right there in the studio locked in. I couldn't believe it, but
It's a legend.
yeah.
That's a legend right there. Speaking of legends, you were at Coachella, you performed with him.
Yeah.
The Tupac Hologram has been praised. It's been slaughtered by everybody. Like, people like it, people don't. I personally liked it, but I felt like it brought back the sadness that we don't have Pac.
Right.
How did you feel whenever you were seeing this hologram?
Man,
How did you, what was Kendrick thinking as soon as you saw the hologram go up in rehearsals? What were you thinking?
sickening, crazy, because I remember seeing Pac, as a kid. Him and Dre.
You saw them perform?
And I performed. I seen him standing on top of a Bentley shooting the first California Love video.
Oh,
First edited.
I think I remember hearing about that.
Right. So imagine me seeing this hologram and then seeing Dre on side of him. That's
Right.
a whole nother mixed emotion coming back to the time when I seen them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I thought I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Because it was like a surprise for me too, like
Right.
everybody else.
So you loved it then in that case.
Yeah,
like you love
man.
seeing that.
That's dope to me.
Why do you think people aren't
Because-
are reacting to it too good though?
I think it's one of them things where, well, that's what I know it is. People don't understand the significance of making the younger generation appreciate this dude.
Right.
My little brothers, they don't know like Pac like that. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So this was a test of time where Dre wanted to, make sure people don't, the younger generation that's in this crowd don't forget who this legend is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just for a brief moment. It ain't something that's going to happen constantly. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
Remember his music, remember his legacy, and end it at that. That's why he tells you, I'm not going to do this again just for this particular time, because he knows younger kids out there.
Right.
You
The
know what I'm saying?
album sales went up. From what I heard, Pac's album sales went up after the
Seriously?
hologram. Yeah.
Wow.
They spiked because it's just like a lot of people are like, how could you dare bring him back? And then he wasn't alive when Coachella was going on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, him and Dre obviously had their beef, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but I think people lost the essence of it, that we're really missing two big puzzle pieces in hip hop right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that brings me to my next question. I saw you get emotional when Snoop passed the torch to you.
Yeah.
And that made me so happy to see somebody like you getting that passed to you, only because it's like, it could have been anybody. It could have been a mainstream artist. How many years has it been since the West has been on top?
Man, right.
How many years has it been? And it's
Right.
like TDE's doing it. Shouts out to Dom Kennedy, Pac Div, Casey
Yeah.
Veggies. All these guys from the West Coast have been hustling, but you're
Right.
the one that got the torch.
Yeah.
So is there a lot of pressure on your shoulders right now, being that you're the one that was on the stage that everybody saw, that millions have seen the video? Is there a lot of pressure on Kendrick Lamar right
you
now?
know the big difference, why it's not any pressure? Because I always had this pressure the moment, I picked up my
Right.
first pen to start writing.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't understand that. They be like, man, you ain't stressed out. You ain't worrying about this. and that."
Right.
Like, nah, because the day I picked up that pen to write, I always wanted to be the best at it. I never
Right.
wanted to be number two. Ever. So I felt like it was pressure every time I wrote my rap. It got to be the best rap. It got to be the best song. Then actually, you know, eventually it came around. It got to be the whole total package.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I always kept, you know, these high standards for myself. So by the time everybody caught on that day,
Yeah.
I already been new, you know.
You're already way past what they
I'm-
expected from you.
Exactly. I've been waiting on this.
Right. So Section 80 classic album. As soon as I bought it, shouts out to Dave in the building. I actually called Dave hype as hell.
Yeah.
After I listened to the album, like, this is a classic.
Right.
I haven't felt this way about an album in a minute from the West Coast.
Right.
It's no disrespect to anybody on the West doing their thing right now. It's just, it just felt good, and it felt like it was you.
Right.
And then we get tracks like Cartoon and Cereal featuring Gunplay.
Gunplay.
What people don't understand about Kendrick is that there's so many different layers to you as an artist.
Exactly.
So how do you decide what MC you're going to be whenever you go into the booth? Because you got Cartoon and Cereal type Kendrick, you got ADHD type Kendrick, Hold Up type Kendrick, you know what I mean? Ronald Reagan era type Kendrick, Rigor Mortis, you know what I mean? Like, all these are different, I feel like.
All this music, you know, them different types of music, you know, and sounds and delivery and concept, it all comes from my personality and, you know, my lifestyle, how I grew up in the city. When I say Good Kid, Mad City, that plays a part of me more than, you know, people actually know until, you know, they hear the album. I was allowed to be the dreamer. Just off the fact I had both parents in my household. None of my homies had that, period. So I was one up.
Right.
That's a good kid. You know, to have my mom sit me down and pop sit me down and say, it's something bigger than, you know, the streets out here. You don't got to be like me. I had that. Mad City. That's me walking back outside and going back to reality and bumping my head a few times.
Right.
You know, so when I touch on certain topics like faith, you know, and ADHD and records like that, that's me going back to them elements, sitting down on the couch and getting them lectures sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And going back in the streets with Ronald Reagan. And it plays in my lifestyle, you know.
What inspired you to do Cartoon and Cereal, though?
Cartoon and Cereal?
Like, a lot of people, that went over a lot of people's head, and I put a lot of people onto that track.
Yeah.
And before I hit play, I'm always like, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, you have to have a big imagination when you listen to this song. Because if you don't, you're not going to like it. And I'm going to tell you, either you're going to like it or you're not. And there's no in between. But if you don't feel this, then I don't know where your imagination is.
That's the blend of both of what you're talking about right now.
Okay.
That's me being in the space of a kid.
Right.
But at the same time, the drums is hidden, and what I'm talking about is harsh and it's reality. I don't think nobody ever, you know, combined them two together. And I'll be spilling the beans right now, but yeah. That's like the real warm up, you know, for about what's to come.
What for the new album?
Yeah.
Shouts out to THC on that one.
Yeah.
That wasn't like as soon as I heard that, I'm like, okay, now I need to listen to it in my beats.
Yeah.
And then go back again. Are we gonna get a video for that one or what?
I'm trying. I got to work around this schedule. I need
Y'all
one
got a treatment
fast.
and all that good stuff?
I need one fast. Yeah, we got some ideas. For sure.
Good.
Shout out to A$AP Rocky.
I definitely need to see that. Speaking of the crew love, gotta send a big shout out to Black Hippy. Everybody's like happy to see a group finally getting along. I just had you sign my Fader magazine so I could throw it up in the crib. It gave a good like depiction of what you guys all bring to the table. So as a group, how is it that you guys work so well together?
You know what it is? I think the reason for most groups breaking up is because they don't come in the game being, you know, having their own entity as far as their own artists. I mean, their own character and their own projects. They come in just being a group.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, as the years pass, you're going to have conflicts as far as, you know, creativity, personalities, and people want to space out and do their own thing. So what we did, we want to, you know, solidify each individual artist first. You know what I'm saying? And give them their own sound and then come together as a group and show them, you know.
I was laughing at Absol, the story behind Absol, how he's the suburban kid.
I
was like, wait, what? Like he defines a Black Hippie to me. Like he's just so free spirited. He seems like he's so he's about it.
Yeah, he's the mascot. He's the mascot for sure.
Suburban.
Everything about him.
No, the whole crew is dope. I saw you guys. I when I got this shirt made because I was so influenced by the Respect the West show. In Austin, and being that you've grown and it's been less than a year, you got the deal with Aftermath that we were talking about. You said, you know, the people at Interscope and Aftermath are good people, and I quote. So now you're there. So what's the plan, man? Like, where are we going?
The plan, man, is ASAP move and get the world this album.
Right.
So we've been working the whole time. We've been working. TD, we've been working. Ain't nothing to stop. Ain't nothing to stop. Nothing really changed.
Not changing who you are. We're not changing the script.
The music ain't changed. Only thing that changed is
the money.
Amount of shows.
You say the shows, I say the money. I'm
right.
like, oh, the money's
right.
pretty good too.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yo, I really appreciate you coming up. I'm gonna close it out with this. I'm gonna do this little thing called wordplay, where I give you a word and you give me the first thing that comes to mind. All right?
Okay.
Blogs.
Two dope boys.
Woo! Shake and Mecca are gonna love that one.
Yeah.
Love.
Whitney and Bobby. Why that father?
I don't know. Speaking of love, this is another question that I had. You got a lot of like really, I guess you could say, female friendly songs.
Yeah.
What's up? Like, I'm gonna use the term that Casey gave me. Are you shaded? What's going on? Are you shaded? Is this you?
My shade. Who taught you that word?
Casey. Shout out to Young Veggies.
That's
Casey
crazy.
and Anwar.
That's crazy.
Yeah?
No, I'm good.
You good?
I mean, I love women.
Okay, so you love women. So you're shaded by multiple trees.
Yeah.
Basically.
I love women.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's the inspiration.
Yeah. I love women.
Ooh, he put the shades on, so I better go to the next word. A double XL freshman.
Double XL freshman. Absol. Yeah.
Absol.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Absol. LA riots.
LA riots. Ronnie King.
East Coast.
East Coast, Biggie. I was just watching the Watch Call yesterday.
I did the same thing. I was watching. I'm like, I know this whole story, and every time you watch it, you just wish there was a different ending. And you're like, no, why is it got to be like
They
this?
make it so dramatic too,
I
man.
know.
Like, damn.
That officer at the end and stuff that knew everything, who killed him and all that.
They threw out the evidence.
So mad. So mad. All right. Record label.
TDE.
The world.
God.
Kendrick Lamar.
Greatness.
And I think we're going to let you go home and get some rest. Because you killed your show tonight.
Thank you.
It was a secret show at first, and I wasn't telling nobody.
Yeah, they came out like they knew though.
I wasn't telling anybody. So I was like, hey, we gotta make sure the crew gets to the show to see you perform. Section 80 is a classic album. If you do not have that in your catalog, I highly suggest you go and purchase that. The new album's gonna be coming out, still untitled, correct? Still untitled. So make sure you go get that as well. Support Kendrick Lamar, man.
Please do.
Bringing back real hip hop for the West Coast. I'm excited to say that the West Coast has good representation at the moment, and it's not something that's disposable. So it feels good.
Thank you.
We're good.
We good.
We're good.
Peace, y'all.
High power.